Hello students, my name is Rohan Kadam and I'm here to discuss with you the chapter 1.2 of FYJC. On to the summit, we reach the top by Tenzing Norgay. In this chapter, the writer Tenzing describes how he reached the top and how he climbed down of the Mount Everest along with his friend Hilary. So let's see the journey of the writer. So let us first see about the climbing up. The writer, along with Hilary, started from Camp 9, and the writer was determined to reach the top of the Mount Everest. He thought to himself, I must get to the top even if I die. It means the writer wanted to reach the top even if anything happens. The next point, sometimes the writer took the lead and sometimes Hilary became the leader. Means the writer and Hilary were tied by a rope, and sometimes the writer was ahead of Hilary, and sometimes Hilary was in front of the writer. The difficult job is of the follower as compared to the leader, because the leader cuts the steps and breaks away, but the follower is the anchor. It means the leader maybe cuts the ice, and the broken ice particle will fall on the follower. So the follower has to be careful because he is behind. Let's see the next point. Now, you all know that the writer and Hilary were joined by a rope. The rope was the symbol that they were not individuals but a team who were trying to reach the top of Mount Everest. The main thought of the two was to reach to the top and not who will be the first to reach the Mount Everest. Climbing requires a lot of attention, and the more worries involved, as per the writer. It means they did not care who will be the first. The only thing they wanted to achieve was to reach the top of Mount Everest. The next point, the distance between them was about 20 feet. If the difference was of 1000 feet, then the claim of who is first would be right. It means that the difference between the two was very less to say whether the writer was the first or Hilary was first to reach the Mount Everest. So now both were not interested in claiming who was the first to reach the Mount Everest. We can see this from the diary of Hilary. He had written in his diary about their journey to the top of Mount Everest. Let's see what it is. It is dated June 22nd, 1953, but the day they reached the top of Mount Everest is May 29th. Sherpa, he is the writer, Sherpa and Hilary left the camp to climb Mount Everest. They reached the Mount Everest together. So there is no mention that who reached the top first. Hilary is a good person He is giving both equal credit. Next, Hillary took the photograph of the writer holding flags of Great Britain, Nepal, the United Nations, and India. Now, let's see what happened when they both reached the top of Mount Everest. As they reached the top, they embraced each other as they could because of heavy equipment. Means they hugged each other, but they had heavy equipment on their back, so they could not hug properly. Next, the writer said to Hilary, "We have done it." He could not hear as there were oxygen masks on them. The writer said something, but Hilary could not hear because of the oxygen masks. Next, the writer, on reaching top, thanked God as the writer got blessings to fulfill his dream. He had failed 6 times before. So this was the seventh attempt of the writer and he was successful. The writer's family was Buddhist and he could not kneel because of its clothes and equipment. So in Buddhist, there's a custom to kneel, but the writer could not, as his clothes and equipment did not allow him. Let's see further what happened. After reaching the top, the writer placed the offering to God, which were biscuits, candy, a little blue pencil. The pencil was given by his youngest daughter, Nima. When he pointed it to Hilary, he smiled. So, this was what happened when the writer gave offerings to the god. Next point, when the writer was very thirsty, he could not drink the water because it was frozen. So, he had to eat biscuits. Next point, the writer did not feel tired because of the happiness and the excitement of reaching the top of Mount Everest. He was happy for the achievement and he did not feel tired at all. After reaching the top of Mount Everest, the writer has described how the top of the mountain was. Let's see. 20 or 30 feet below the top was a flat square for two people to sleep, and a tent could be set up there. The summit was flat on one side and steep on the other side. There is snow on the northern side, rocks are there on the south and the east. On the west, there was snowy rock. So, this is how the summit or the highest point of the Mount Everest was. The next point, the writer and Hillary stayed there for 15 minutes. They were lucky that there was no strong wind, otherwise, they would have problems. So, let's see further what happened. Now the writer had reached to the top along with Hilary. Now let us see what happened when they climbed down. Climbing down is difficult and dangerous because if you slip, then that person would fall in Kangshung Glacier and would never be found. It means he would be dead. Next point. While climbing down, the writer was behind Hillary and feels a person climbing down should be Hosiar. Hosiar means be alert because climbing down is not easy as people think. Next point. The writer prayed to God that there was no accident and God saved him, and he hoped that same happens in the future. He wants God to always be with him. Next point. When they came to the Camp 9, they were not in mood to talk. They stayed there for half an hour, boiled snow to make lemon water, and left only with sleeping bags. This happened when they were climbing down. Let's see further. They both, after climbing down, spent a night at Camp 8, and the writer describes it as a easier job than climbing the Mount Everest and coming down. Just above Camp 8, there were people to see them and to ask them what happened. The writer just raised the arm with thumb up, and it was the only communication to show that they were successful. Noise and Lau were happy with joy. Their faces showed happiness. Next point. Lau had come up about 30 feet with tea, which smelled like kerosene. But still, the writer drank the tea as it was made with lot of pains. The writer has also mentioned about a red scarf. Now let's see what it is. The red scarf was given by Lambert to the writer. Who was Lambert? He was the leader of the Swiss expedition which had tried to climb the Mount Everest on 20th May 1952. They both were at 28,215 feet when the scarf was given to the writer. They were not successful that time. The writer was wearing the red scarf from Darjeeling and felt Lambert was with him when he reached the top of Mount Everest this time. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you have understood. If you have any queries or any doubts, feel free to ask me or message me, and I surely will get back to you.